Shocking, ridiculous, embarrassing, infuriating, weak. Just so disappointing. Liverpool have lost 3-0 to a side that was in the bottom three. We now have 6 losses out of 12 games in the Premier League. People at Anfield were leaving after the 80th minute, and Slot and the players are sleepwalking to the worst title defence ever. We're now in the bottom half of the table, where we belong. Bring back Jurgen Klopp. Get some of that feistiness, some of that anger, some of that passion back into the team. Demand to win games. Take the armband off Virgil Van Dijk and put it onto a real leader. And let's see some fight. I'm getting very close to Slot out. I don't want to be that reactive, but the man has no solutions. Vulnerable defence. It's just becoming very weak and very porous and very open. Our attack having no creativity, no movement. Where are the solutions to that? None. Is predictable, slow, ponderous. Where are your tactics, Slot? Where are your answers? They're not coming out, and I'm getting very close to wanting Slot out. Some of you may already be there. I understand they are a side in mourning for the sad passing of Jota. I understand that. R.I.P. Diogo Jota. But come on, it's time to show some character. It's time to show some fight. It's time to look like you're offended by the opposition scoring a goal. You're going to fight to get back into the game. You don't see any of that with Liverpool at the moment. There was a block by Nottingham Forest central defender Murillo at the end of the game. The ball comes in from Salah, trickles through to Chiesa. It's just him and the goalie. Suddenly out of nowhere, Murillo throws his entire body in line of that shot. He does everything he can to block the shot. Forest are 3-0 up at this point. Conceding one goal would not be the end of the world. But to Murillo and to all the other Forest defenders, it would be the end of the world to concede a goal in that moment in time. And they're willing to throw their bodies on the line. They're willing to get cramped. They're willing to exhaust themselves. Instead, you have Virgil van Dijk shaking his head in a surly way, acting like, why am I having to play with these Muppets? You are missing all kinds of defensive awareness at the moment. Your communication is rock bottom. You don't seem to have organised your defenders around you, and you're the leader of the team. Hendo would be telling players where they should be, what they should do. He'd be barking orders, screaming at them. Jurgen Klopp would be doing that on the side too. Before Hendo, Gerrard would be doing it. That's what I want from my leaders at Liverpool. And I'm not getting that with you, Van Dijk. Instead, I'm getting some surly shaking of the head as if, you're just grumpy that your players around you have made mistakes. No, that's not good enough. I'm Lawrence on Liverpool, a tiny Liverpool fan channel. I do love this team as much as I'm going to rant in this video. Give me a follow and a like, I appreciate it. I want to see more passion, and the only player I saw passion from in this match was Chiesa. He got a yellow card for it because he let his passion spill out. Some of that Italian hand gestures and a few swear words possibly in Italian. But I want to see that because at least I believe that Chiesa will do everything he can to help the team win and get back into the match. These players, when they came off at full time, yeah, they're sweaty, but they didn't look exhausted, did they? You can't accept for our team to lose 3-0 and not look exhausted by the end of the match. They should be giving every single ounce of energy they've got for the cause, and I don't believe they're doing that. Liverpool seemed to start well, but that's only because Forest were sitting back, absorbing any early pressure Liverpool were going to put on them. There was some pressure. It wasn't like immense. It wasn't like a overwhelming pressure. Every shot was blocked. Every cross was mishit. Too many passes missed there. I don't know what's happened with Liverpool passing this year. It's like they don't practice passing anymore in training. Too often that final ball is just mishit, too underhit, overhit, too much to the left, too much to the right. Just doesn't get where it's meant to go. Crosses as well. The only crosses that seemed to actually hit heads was hitting McAllister's head. Why are you hitting crosses to the shortest man on the pitch when you have Isak right next to him? Although I don't think it would have mattered, because if they had crossed the ball to Isak, it would have just gone right through him because he was that invisible. Barely saw Isak. He only had 14 touches of the ball in the 68 minutes he was on the pitch. What is the point? Isak, you're invisible at the moment. You need to stand up and show yourself. You showed yourself a lot when you were misbehaving at Newcastle. Now it's time to take centre stage, yeah? The first goal, of course, it was a set piece. I mean, isn't it interesting that every one of our crosses and corners Nottingham Forest were dealing with very easily, determined to make sure those crosses didn't hit the heads of Van Dijk and Konate, and they were doing everything they can to get in front of it, to block them. First set piece for them, first corner for them. It's a goal. It was a very easy goal as well. That's the problem. We didn't look like we were determined to cut that opportunity out. And that's a running theme all season so far. The second goal, what on earth was happening there? Somehow, we're left with only Konate standing on Igor Jesus and acres of space around. And as the ball comes in, Konate decides to slide tackle the ball while in mid-air. So, of course, that means he's now not got proper balance. He falls on the ground, didn't even clear the ball. So Igor Jesus left there standing, the ball at his feet, Konate crumpled on the ground. Thank you very much. I'll take the easy goal. Unfortunately for them, very lucky for Liverpool, it was crossed off for a handball. I think that was unlucky for them. We should have been 2-0 down, and then it could have been worse. It could have been worse than a 3-0 loss because, momentum going 2-0 down into the second half would not have been a good look. But we went into the half time still only 1-0 down. So here's your moment, Slot. Here's where you as a manager show that you can see all the holes in that Nottingham Forest performance and teach your players how to exploit it. Show them how to exploit it. You can also see our defensive frailties in the middle of that match and say, do this, do that. Crowd the box more, whatever you have to do to shore up the defence a bit more. So we're meant to come out in the second half, tighter defence and able to see opportunities and angles and passing movements. Instead, we came out, we conceded a goal within the very first minute, and for the rest of the match, our attack was incredibly predictable. Nothing changed from the first half. So what was the point of that halftime speech? And the goal we conceded in that first minute was embarrassing, shameful. The ball's played around on that left wing. We can all see it. Everyone at home can see that there's a massive gap in the middle for a midfield runner to just come on. Van Dijk doesn't see it. He's looking elsewhere. Konate doesn't see it. He's looking elsewhere. The obvious pass gets pulled into the centre. It's squared in. The player running onto it. Easy shot. Where is that defensive awareness? It's just gone missing. And that, along with a lack of effort, now, a lack of willing to bust a lung, to have cramp at the end of the match, to be exhausted, a lack of determination to not concede. They're just too willing to concede goals. And they're pointing fingers and blaming each other. At least Van Dijk's doing a lot of that. That wasn't me because I was looking at this bit here. Someone else should have been there. Well, what about you being there, Van Dijk? He's never there, is he? And there was a part of me that did feel sorry for Slot a little bit. Because, yes, I think he's failing on tactics. I think he's failing on strategy. Team sheets, actually there's not too many different options. Maybe play a different formation would give you options. But the players, their mindset is completely wrong. There is no feisty anger. There is no focused passion. It all feels very performative. It all feels very predictable. It all feels like, well, this is my role. This is what I'm meant to do in this little pocket of the pitch. I will do that. Szoboszlai, you get a lot of effort from. Konate gets absolutely yanked off the pitch. 51st minute, something like that. Gravenberch put into that right-sided centre-back role. That tells Konate how much Slot values him. I think if we wanted Konate to re-sign, doing that doesn't help. Although some of you may not want Konate to re-sign, but it does look like to me that we're losing him on a free come the end of the season. Great, that's another valuable player we've let go on a free. Terrible economics. But let's not go into the off-pitch failings of this season so far as well. But on the pitch, it's just shocking. So Gravy moves into there. We get Ekitike. So now we've got Ekitike and Isak up front. Isak still absolutely missing, leaves a bit later on. Ekitike does a little bit more work, but it's just too crowded because now they're 2-0 up. They can low block like mad and they all fight. All those Nottingham Forest defenders under Sean Dyche are fighting to make sure they don't concede a single goal. And then 3-0, we let them skip right between Robbo, who's come on for Kirkes, and Engamoa. Take a shot. Alisson saves it, but it ball bounces back into the centre of the penalty box, and none of our players are reacting anywhere near quick enough, allowing Gibbs White just to come onto the ball and put it away. 3-0, thank you very much. That was easy, wasn't it? So what's the solution here? How can we get better? I actually don't know. I really have no idea. I don't like how Slot just stands still on the sidelines, hands in his pocket. He's looking like it's another day at the office. Yes, he's a very professional, calm, measured man, and that's great when we're winning the league last season. You know, brilliant. It all looks like you're fully under control. When we're losing 6 games out of 12 in the Premier League and we've dropped into the bottom half of the table as title champion winners, that actually just to me reminds me of Steve McLaren, Wally with a brolly at England, completely devoid of any new ideas, devoid of any passion, devoid of any hunger to change things in the moment. It's just not happening. Sure, you can throw on Engamoa with 10 minutes left. A roll of the dice. Let's see if a young 17-year-old can dribble his way through 10 players to score a goal. That's a bit unfair on Engamoa. And it doesn't show me that you have solutions. You're just trying to throw players on the hope they can bail you out. Where is the change of tactic? The tactics that are not working so far this season, they're not working. Where are the new, fresh ideas? And until we get that, where is at least the shoring up a defence so we can stop conceding so many goals? You're not doing that either. Van Dijk, as a captain, I've lost complete faith in you. I've absolutely lost all faith in you. And I think Slot and Van Dijk are front runners. They're great when you're doing well. Yeah, because they're calm, controlled, seemingly controlled presences. When you're doing badly, they have no control over things around them and they don't know how to change. And they're not the best at man management in terms of motivating the players around them, are they? Like, you have to be honest, they're kind of anti that. You look over at Slot, hand in his pocket, looking stern, you're like, all right. You look at Van Dijk and he's too busy muttering to himself, shaking his head, looking surly and moaning. That doesn't fill you with confidence, motivation, passion either. Man, I just really want Klopp back. I miss Klopp. And probably the worst part of all of this for me is that I am bored watching Liverpool play this season. It's not so much the losses. I can handle the losses. We had losses under Jurgen Klopp. We had periods where we didn't do well. We had seasons which weren't great. But at least I loved watching Liverpool play, because it was always dramatic and we'd always attack with vigour and determination and pace and power. Where has that gone? That's disappeared entirely. You know, yes, we'd get caught in a counter-attack because we'd commit too many players forward in a overzealous, almost childlike passion and energy to try and score goals. But it was fun to watch. It could be infuriating at times, but it was still entertaining. This is just boring. Absolutely boring. I'm having to really focus and keep awake watching these matches with Liverpool this season because our attack is just dead. There's nothing, there's no exciting movements. There's not brilliant moments of magic, or very few of those at least. It's boring, and our defense is predictably fragile and weak. You know, it's not like suddenly individual mistakes like, whoa, where'd that come from? How do we concede that? You know the goals are coming. You know we're going to concede because you can see the patterns and they just keep repeating themselves match after match after match. And the patterns are Van Dijk, Konate, no defensive awareness at all. Too big a gap between them. Too slow to react when players are running past them on through balls. Kirkes, too reckless on the left back. You can tell I'm frustrated. Do give me your comments below. Let's discuss it. Tell me if you agree, what your thoughts are, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.